Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. I'm going to give us just like another minute or so, make sure everybody can, get their connection and everything ready for this morning's session. But I just want to thank you again for tuning in today. I'm so excited. You have no idea. This has been a long time coming. So many of you may know me, but my name is Gabby Lavoie. I am on staff with NVAR. I'm the Director of Experience, Engagement, and Global Programs. And so what that means is I do a little bit of everything. I help out with member services, I help with the communications, and the thing that is my all-time favorite passion is working with global. So I get to partner with all the different cultural forums that we have at the association. I get to work closely with Teresa Watson. She's my sister from another mister. And of course, with these amazing people who we have tuned in with us today, Ahmed Goma, our chair of the Global Leadership Advisory Group, and Purva Thaker, who's our vice chair of the Asian American Realtor Forum. But you may or may not know, NVAR is actually recognized by the National Association of Realtors as a Diamond Council Award winner. This is an incredibly prestigious award that actually only 17 other local associations have ever achieved. And there's about 1,100 local associations across the country, so we're very proud of that honor. If you're interested in learning more about NVAR Global or international real estate in general, you're welcome to contact me, or you can go to nvar.com/global, and you can find tons of information there. Just wanted a couple housekeeping things before I pass it over to Ahmed. This session will be recorded, so we'll send out the YouTube link to everyone. So if you enjoyed it today, please, by all means, share it with your networks. And if you have any questions, there is a Q&A feature, so you're welcome to post questions throughout, and we'll have a little bit of time at the end for Q&A as well. So without further ado, thank you again for tuning in, and I pass it over to Ahmed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ahmed Goma. I'm the Global Leadership Advisory Group. I'm the chair for 2026. The Global Leadership Advisory Group is composed of the chairs and vice chairs of the NVR culture forums and international business forums. The group consults on NVR global programming, international real estate, and conferences, and provide expertise on the future of global real estate. Our mission for the Global Leadership Advisory Group is to increase NVR members' awareness of the global business opportunities, and both inbound and outbound, and contact international investment to our incredible advisory. You may or you may not be aware of, according to our Fairfax.gov website, India is the second largest international population in Fairfax County, following the Korea, which is number one. NVR is striving to develop relationship with the top 15 largest international population to represent in our committees. We hope by having this session, we give you more information about the culture in India. And by doing these webinars, we would like to everyone to participate with us. And hopefully we can give you more information today. From now, I will give it to Purva. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you very much. First of all, before I start this, I want to say thank you so much to Gabby. I know there's been a lot of back-end stuff that you've been working on, and it's nonstop, but thank you so much for putting this together. For all the audience that we have today, they want to know, and thank you for, taking that first step. Without further ado, I don't want to take too much time introducing myself. I think it's most important we give some time to our main guest today. So today our guest is Samer Chopra, one of the most influential figure in Indian real estate. Sam is the president and the CEO of eXp Realty India. part of a global platform operating in 28 countries. Let me repeat that, 28 countries. He has served as a president and vice chairman of the NAR India, sits on the management council of NAR EDCO, and was the founder of Remax India. For the last 3 decades, he has been at the center of almost every major shift in the Indian real estate industry. And today he's so gracious enough. He took his time and joined us to talk about where India sits in global allocation conversation. Sam, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Purva, for this wonderful, note on myself. I was looking around to see who she was talking about, but that's really kind of you. Thank you. Much appreciated.
You deserve every bit of it.
That's really kind of you, and thank you for having me over. The entire team of NVAR, yourself, Ahmed. Good to have you and all others alongside myself. So wonderful. Thank you once again. Well, you've said everything that I could have said about myself, but thanks. So I have nothing more to say other than diving, straight away into whatever you want to ask, and happy to give you a little bit more background and myself and India or whatever else. I'll leave it to you.
That'd be perfect because we have lots of questions. We are sitting over here. We want to know. I have so many clients and agents. When they came to know about this webinar, they came to me and they were asking, "Oh, I have somebody who wants to invest in India. Oh, can we connect? Can we know more?" So I have so many questions prepared for you.
Absolutely.
I hope that's okay.
Absolutely. By all means, go ahead.
Very first thing that I want to ask you is there any, as a country overview, real estate market overview, is there any best cities or a region that you feel as in US investors, those are good to enter into as a first timer, or if you're starting new, this is a better position?
Well, I'd say the first city a person should invest in is his native city, village, town, county that he's from. That's the best place because, you have family there or you had family there, you have roots if nothing else, and you've probably been there a few times. So that's the best place to be. Having said that, there's some great cities, which are, let's say, capital depth cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore, or Bangalore as we call it now. Those are great cities to get into. Then you have cities which are more, again, like Bangalore, talent and infrastructure cities. And those are like Hyderabad, which is great into technology, just like the Indian Silicon Valley, Bangalore. So it's similar to that. Hyderabad, Pune, Gurgaon, Noida. Some of, I don't know the audience mix, but I presume most of them are from India. But if not, then, I give you a little bit of,
That'd be helpful.
say the geography of that might help. So cities like Delhi is the country's capital, New Delhi. And we have, so we are probably, I'd say, mid-north of the country. And then you have on the west side, you've got Mumbai. Then I would call Pune also on the west side, essentially. That's Maharashtra, which is one state. Then we have Delhi, of course, has got two cities which are really the tri-cities of Delhi, Gurgaon and Noida, two very heavily populated, industrial as well as business services townships, which have grown over the last 20 years. So the young cities, very vibrant, great cities to invest in. Hyderabad is down south. That's another great territory or a city to come into. But having said that, there's also the infrastructure and let's call it the frontier corridor. You've got places like Noida has this thing which goes all the way from Noida to Agra. Agra is the famous city where one of the seven wonders of the world, Taj Mahal, is there. So, so you have that as a great corridor to invest. You have a new airport that's coming up. In fact, it's come up and it's going to be inaugurated very soon. You're going to have commercial flights come out of Noida in about a month's time or so, waiting for some approvals. But the basic inauguration has been done. There are two more airports, new airports. One is in Goa. Goa is like the old Portuguese colony, which has really been, it's a lovely, quaint town which has grown into a hustling, bustling city, lovely beaches, etc. It's a great place to invest in. Then you have Navi Mumbai, which is an outskirt of Mumbai. Mumbai being Western India and probably I would call it the financial capital of the country. There again, you have this lovely airport which has just been, just been serviced into commercial, to commercial airlines only about a month back. So that's again a great, and these all, when I say new airports, these are all new second airports in the same city. So essentially, Delhi has in its proximity, Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida has its second airport. Goa has its second airport. There was one in the south, now this one's in the north. And now Mumbai has its second airport, Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. Navi means new in English. So Navi Mumbai has its next one. Then there is the state of our Prime Minister, Gujarat, has two great investment destinations. Gujarat, there. You're from Gujarat,
Go
right?
Gujarat, because I'm from Gujarat. So I'm like, go Gujarat.
Absolutely. So Gujarat has, Gujarat is probably going to have I'm told the Commonwealth Games, the next ones, and we are bidding for the Olympics as well. So there is a lot of infrastructure development, a lot of, positivity and euphoria. There's a lot of investment going on, and there's this place called the Gift City, GIFT, Gift. Gift City is a great, institutional magnet. All financial institutions are coming there, just pretty much like what Dubai has in DIFC and other places in Dubai. Gift City is very similar. And then you have a place called Dholera, which is part of Gujarat, not very far from there. I've unfortunately never been there so far. That's on my trip to do in the next in this quarter itself. But I'm told it's a great city where a lot of new development is taking place, and a lot of companies from all across the globe are investing there. So these are, I would say, cities. Maybe I'm gunning really hard for a lot of cities, but those are the cities I would go for, so as to say.
I like how you said it, how you put it together, that the best first step is to go to your hometown and do it. And if you're not from India, if you don't know anything about India, then it's high time. Let's come together and let's travel and get to know more.
Absolutely.
Over here, we have a trajectory of each city, each zip code will have their own cost of housing and investment locations and everything. So is it the same if you go to Gujarat or maybe Mumbai or maybe Bengaluru, as you mentioned? What is the average cost of home in prime investment location? Would that be differ? How does that look like for us?
So, it'll be the price points vary a lot. As Conrad Hilton said once, every successful hotel comes out of three reasons essentially, and location, and that's what it is pretty much here. So it's all about every city has great, and it's all across the world. Frankly, every city has, central business districts, suburbs, places which are really high dense, high population, low cost housing somewhere, affordable homes somewhere, luxury condominiums in other places. So that's true for all cities in India as well. You have, you have a very large rural and semi-urban part of every city, I would say, because when as the city expands, it touches the agrarian side of the say the state, because they start as smaller cities. Any city for that matter starts at some nucleus center, and then it keeps growing, and it touches the borders where you go into new developments, and it's not refurbishment but new developments coming in, and access to infrastructure, roads, metros, rail, makes it a lot easier. So, your time is the real metrics for commuting. It's not the distance. And as infrastructure gathers speed in terms of access from one point A to point B could be anywhere as far as possible. And you look for cheaper housing because most people who come to work in these cities would eventually want to you be able to afford it. And obviously, the further you stay, the better it is. Or then you have people who don't have people who are in a nucleus family. Now they do not have children with them because they've flown the nest. And as empty nesters, they would probably want to be either in the city or actually in the countryside. On the other hand, you'd have students and young married couples who would want to stay near the city, or people who are working in large institutions come to the city. So pricing, I would say, would vary between as low as say $200 per square foot to as high as maybe $1,000 per square foot. So it's a huge variance. It's five times,
Right.
And you have places like South Mumbai, which is you have Worli, a place called Worli, place called BKC Birla, sorry, BKC, and all these prices are very very high. You'd if you look at rentals would be something like actually if I say price points in terms of even to give you an estimate from US pricing points, it'll be from $2 million to about $6 million. That's the price point you'd have over there. But if you go to some places in Delhi, for example, there's a place called DLF, which is in the suburbs of Delhi. You have apartments which are of the value of a single apartment would be about 120 million rupees. Sorry, dollars, $120 million. So I'm sorry, I'm missing the zero. It's $12 million. So $12 million apartments in India are common. And then you have large places again in Delhi where you have maybe about a 20 to 60 million dollar homes. So that's the price point. But having said that, I think the price in India is very reasonable compared to a lot of places in Asia. And I would say things like you can get a maybe $100,000 home, 350, $250,000 homes. So it depends on what you're looking for and where you're investing.
That makes sense. And how are the trends? Does that keep on changing, or each region has their own trend? Over here, if somebody comes to me and asks me that, okay, how is the market? So my Virginia market is going to be a little bit different than what West Virginia looks like, or North Carolina looks like, or even Maryland looks like, even though these all states are very close by. Even in Virginia, each cities have a lot of different market trends. So is that something very similar in India?
Well, so let me put it this way: if it are you talking about the price, or are you talking about um, you know
Pricing perspective, the trend, like if it's a seller, how quickly we'll be able to find the tenant, or how
yeah,
quickly is it residential, or is it more better to go in commercial? How will
yeah,
that look
yeah.
like?
So essentially, a place like let me take it differently. The real estate is a state subject in India, which is probably in the US as well.
Right.
So every state has a different real estate regulatory act. Licensing provisions are different, and culturally and traditionally, the way sale, purchase, or trading or leasing is done is different. You know, there are customary changes. If you probably drive 500 miles in any direction from a city and you go to another state, it will be very different. So I would say state wise they're different because the culture, the language. I tell everybody we're like the European Union. So it's like Indian Union, because you travel. You're from Gujarat, so if you go towards Rajasthan,
It's all
the language changes, the clothes change, the food that you eat changes. Come up a little ahead and you come to Delhi or Punjab, again it completely changes. And this is all in a 5-hour drive. You have complete culture, language, dialect, food, everything changes. And that is the reason I would say that states definitely have a complete change, but when it's in the same state, different cities, yes, again, price points will be different. I was in Ahmedabad a few days back, probably your home city, and Ahmedabad to Gandhinagar and Gandhinagar to Gift City, all three of them will have different price points, different way of doing transactions, and even the number of sales that are happening, or would be more in Ahmedabad, lesser in Gandhinagar, despite the fact that it's the capital, and or the public sector or all the government offices are there. And then you go to Gift City, which is completely different. You know, Gujarat is a dry state in terms of alcohol. There's no alcohol there, but you go to Gift City,
yeah.
and you can have alcohol. So just to let you know that it's the same state. You're traveling only about 3 hours, and you have diversity in that sense.
That's right. When it comes to, I want to get into a little bit technical stuff over here. Let's say we have somebody who is approaching, say, okay, I want to invest in India. How do you think the brokerages and local association help international investor, or how that process looks like for an international investor?
So when it comes to say making an investment, obviously you need to have uh, you know either you need friends, or you need family, or you need some connect. um, the ecosystem has to be touched upon in the sense of trust. Can you trust the person that you're speaking to? So from one realtor to another, it's a lot easier than earlier, at least, because you have some large global networks like EXP in India as well as in the US. So you know you you're doing business. If you're an icon agent in the US, or you're a capped agent in the US, you would say, hey, you know what, I can go to any agent, but let me go to a capped or an icon agent in
Right.
India, because I know he's been doing a lot of transactions. There is business, there's experience, and probably let me go to him. He'll be a tenured agent. That's one. The other is that you have the opportunity of going to any person who is a member of the National Association of Realtors, because again, there, it's it's in India, registration of a realtor or a real estate agent is not compulsory. So it's not mandatory that you have to be a part of an association.
Right.
So as a result, anybody and everybody can join, but most people don't join an association. So people who join the association are probably forward-looking, educated, trained, skilled, certified in some way or the other, and therefore they don't want to lose that goodwill that they've created. And it's a great idea to work with somebody who is a member of the association. So as an example, we at EXP, even when I was in my previous company, I founded Remax in India about 15 years ago. Whether it was there at that point of time or then it is now at EXP, we've become members of the association voluntarily, because you want to be, there's something called self governance. So if you get into self governance, you obviously set up a code of ethics. You start working towards a proper governance, etc., etc. So I think it's important to be either a part of or do transactions with an international association, or I'm sorry, international network, or an association member. And if you can get both of them, then that's the perfect mix.
Okay, so if somebody doesn't know and they want to know more, it's better if you don't know anybody, it's better to go to NR India, find out a person, start talking to them and gather more information. That's the safest way to go.
Absolutely. Or the safest way is to pick up the phone and talk to me.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That's the most safest way.
Yeah, no, I don't need to sell ourselves. I represent EXP in any case. My loyalties are to EXP, but then I am the former president and the former vice chairman of NAR India, and of course my loyalties are there as well. So well divided loyalties, and I have confidence in both.
That's right. And it's more about serving what people are asking, and doing the right thing by them.
Absolutely.
I have a question regarding, is there a specific certification? I think you answered this question, but is there any certification that's required to do the international transaction? Or it's, for example, if there is a new construction happening and an international investor is coming over there, is there any specific certification required from Realtor in India side? Or is there any specific documentation, anything specific that is required from the investor in the US side?
So, I'm a CRS, and I've done CIPS and all the other alphabetic soup, as you call it in the US, I'm told. But I've done a lot of these certifications, CIPS being one of them, and therefore I remember that you have a specialization in the US to do international transactions, but in India you don't have that. However, we are now slowly getting licensing into India. The government has brought about the Real Estate Regulatory Act, and every state now compulsorily has the Real Estate Regulatory Act, which is a local state law under the national government's umbrella. What happens in that is that each person is supposed to get himself enrolled, register himself, do his KYC, which is know your customer, know your client, know yourself, put in all the documentation, etc. So that that person is legitimate and he has a license. But that is the requirement only for primary sales, which is off-plan sales, which means that new developments that are coming up for that. For the secondary sales, which means resale or selling a property of another, an owner property, that probably will take some time. Maybe a few years from now, they will bring that also under the ambit of the Real Estate Regulatory Act. Having said that, two states in the country are highly progressive. One is UP, which is where Noida is. So that state, which is the largest or second largest state in the country, probably the most populous state in the country. That has something called the UP RERA, where you have to first go for training and then go for a certification. And if you pass, only then do you get a license. And the second one is in Maharashtra, which is Maharera. Again, Maha for Maharashtra and Rera is the act. And so if you're working in Pune or you're working in Mumbai, then you would need to again take this course, pass that course. Only then will you get a license. So those are the reasons why. So two states have actually brought in licensing through examination. The others are only licensing through registration. It's a fairly young act, and therefore it's going to take time for it to become as robust as it is in the other countries.
That makes sense. And is there any, you would say, how does the property ownership work in India? How does that process looks like for U.S. investor? How is that? As in, if I'm here to invest in India, let's say I'm investing in Noida, how will that transaction looks like for me? How is my money is getting handled, and how am I getting the possession of the home? How is that process, and how is that handled?
So essentially, the Real Estate Regulatory Act, RERA, is the one that sort of ensures compliance by the developer. And if it's a new property or off-plan property, which is just coming up under construction property, then the government or the state government under this particular act ensures that there is sufficient due diligence on the property. They ensure that the money that comes in from investors, home buyers, is put into an escrow account. Okay. The escrow account, only a percentage of that can be used by the developer for construction. Okay. The land should be already owned by the developer. He's not allowed to take the money out for anything else, for another property, etc., which maybe 10 years or 15 years ago he could. And therefore, there were a lot of developers in the yesteryears, I'd say 15 years ago, that went belly up as well. But the government has got very strong policies. It's very similar to how it is in Dubai, as an example. Dubai has the Dubai Land Development DLD, which also has a RERA, exactly the same kind of an act. So this has brought in discipline, financial discipline into all the developers. Then there are strong associations like CREDI and NAREDCO, which are real estate development councils. I happen to be on the managing committee of the NAREDCO as an example. So all the developers are part of that. They govern and self-govern this process as well. What the government does is it ensures the title is owned. Mm-hmm. The due diligence is done by the government through third parties, which include the big four accounting firms, which actually do the due diligence to ensure that the title, ownership, valuation, everything is appropriate. And then on the basis of that, the RERA registration is given to the developer. So if the developer does not have a RERA certification, he is somebody you should not touch with a barge pole. And if he's found advertising a property which is a new property which is not RERA certified, then there are severe punishments, strict controls, etc. So there's no question that a developer would do that. The other is that the agent needs to be licensed as well. So the agent is also licensed by RERA, which means the developer's licensed, the agent is licensed. So you have the developer and the intermediary both licensed, and he's representing you So you have to ensure that when you go to, whether the agent is from NAR or EXP or ABC, it doesn't matter, wherever he's from, but he's got to be RERA certified if he's helping you buying a property, a, a new off-plan property, under construction property. So that's how you control that. Then you have ways of finding out the developer's track record, his on-time delivery, what is the kind of litigation exposure he has, what's the kind of financial stability he has. That's what a good agent will get you. If somebody was to come to me, I'm not going to simply take you to a developer because I make more money out of it, so more commission, but I would want to take you there because it's a safe investment. It's our belief that it's the most expensive purchase that you made so far. So
True.
you rather guide and not misguide somebody for that. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I have a question where I feel like you would just mention about developers' reputation. Is there a way for US investors to figure out how can they do the due diligence?
My belief is that if you've seen if you've gone through his RERA certification, you have, I would say, in most, in most states, the RERA registration is good enough. But having said that, it's always good to have, like I said, a RERA registered agent, because the agent will lose his license if he misrepresents. The developer, if he has done, if he said something and he's actually not delivering what he's promised, then he may lose the license, and it's punitive damages. So there's so much that can happen to the developer that he's not going to risk it. But having said that, there are some bad black sheep in the whole pack. So it's best to do your own due diligence as well, and that's where the track record is very important. His financial due diligence, and it's not difficult to do that, because finding out from people, you while you pick up one agent, but you could always double check, triple check through others to find out whether the developers got a good track record. And today's date, in the in the era of the AI, it's very simple to find out whether the developer has a bad track record or not.
That's right. In your experience, for us, the regular transaction days are 30 days. Is it the same in India? How many days does it take for us? If pre-owned, if we are doing new construction, it is roughly about 3 to 6 months. And if it's pre-owned home, standard is 30 days. How is that in India? Is it the same, different?
Absolutely the same. So in a 30-day period, you normally do a pre-owned home transaction. And if it's under construction property, then it's anything between 3 to 6 months. And the reason is that so the transaction, the government now states that if an agent has paid, I'm sorry, if the client has paid 10% of the total value of the property that he's intending to buy, then the developer has to sign a builder-buyer agreement as soon as 10% is paid, which means that you have a contract at 10%.
Okay.
And therefore, it's a watertight agreement. The agreements, even the norms of the agreement, certain state governments insist that the builder-buyer agreement template is exactly as per what the government has given. So you can't have any kind of documentation made completely in the developer's favor and completely against the agent. You have that opportunity,
Right.
and you're able to see it. Everything's on the internet. You can actually go to every state's RERA has a portal, so you can actually go to the net, check it out, check out what the stage of construction is, and all of that.
Makes sense. Okay, that's good to know. Is there a process? Can international investor get the financing or mortgage through Indian banks? Is that process?
Yes, but it's specifically finance is available for non-resident Indians.
Okay.
It is through Indian banks and also through housing finance companies. But I think most people who come in from overseas prefer a lower leverage in India. They do not take the funding because the growth itself acts like a leverage. So, when your underlying asset is compounding in a structurally expanding economy, over leverage is not a return strategy. It's an unnecessary risk. So you won't take that. So
Okay.
most people will not take the finance.
Okay, that makes sense. And for investors, how does the taxes and fees and legal cost of purchasing and investing in real estate looks like?
So obviously there is taxes in terms of there's GST, etc. When you buy a property, there is registration tax. Firstly, so you pay about 6 to 8% registration tax on. So it's a registration, stamp duty, and processing, paperwork, etc. So it's roughly 6 to 8%. But then, of course, you have to look at how to structure the property purchase. Whose name you're taking it on, the tax efficiency of the property, the can you repatriate that money? Is there an easy exit? Rental incomes, if you're putting it on rent, then there is something called the non-resident NRO account. So you've got to put it through that. There's a tax deducted at source, which is about 30% on the NRI, the non-resident Indian rental income. Then if it goes to sales proceeds, which are bought out of foreign funds or NRE accounts, non-resident external funds accounts, that can be fully repatriated to back to the home country you're in, for up to two properties, for up to two residential properties. So that's again a huge benefit that you have, and I think the figure is about $1 million of annual repatriation can be done from funds which are flowing out of the NRO account, the non-resident ordinary account, as they call it. So that's pretty much what the taxes are.
In your experience, Sam, have you seen investor going more for residential, commercial? What's your experience looks like? Where do international investors invest more?
So, I've seen people. I went for a roadshow to Birmingham, and I saw people wanting to buy Londoners, people out of because they'd come in from London to Birmingham, people from Manchester, Indians wanting to buy properties in places like Goa, in places like Simla. So completely different places. One's a hill station, the other is a beach resort. People wanting to buy properties there. So I would imagine a lot of people want to buy second homes in their place of their parents' birth. So they would want to buy properties in in places like obviously in places which are near their hometown, but possibly first choice would be their hometown. That would be their first home. They may have a property there already because there'll be an ancestral home. In that case, they would buy something which is in that same state or something they resonate with, maybe a beach or a hill station or also pilgrimage. These days, I've seen so many people buy properties in Ayodhya. because that's a very religious place, and therefore people are buying there. So it really depends on the personal choice of every individual as far as residential is concerned. On the commercial side, it is more on, it's all ROI based. You have opportunities of buying properties through real estate investment trusts, REITs. You can buy through the gift city itself, because there are a lot of REITs that are, where it's easy to put in money through an investment, for foreign exchange into the gift city through a REIT, and therefore repatriation becomes a lot easier, and also deployment of funds into various funds in India becomes a lot easier. Those are for more for commercial or retail properties. There are greenfield properties also that can be bought through that route. The ticket size of that would be much higher then. It depends, if you have, say, $50 million to deploy, then you might want to go into buying a greenfield property or a brownfield property and grow that. And that would be mostly, I would say mostly commercial, although there would be some large residential multi-unit homes as well.
Makes sense. I want to go back to your answer, what you mentioned about earlier about the cost, where the registration cost is included. Is it just for the new construction, or is it the similar cost that they have to go through even if it's the pre-owned home, especially in residential?
It's the same. The registration charges of about 6 to 8% is because it includes processing charges also, legal processing, stamp duty, all of that put together. It's safely it'll be about 6 to 8%.
Okay. And before we open the question for all our attendees, I want to ask you, is there any story that you would like to share with us? Some teachable moments for the investors who are thinking to invest, or something to share, some story to share with us?
Well, so let me put it this way, that India, and I'll talk to you about what I feel from my heart, that India is one of the few markets where the tailwinds, whether demographic, infrastructure, governance, institutional capital, all are pointing the same way at the same time. And the framework is structured, it's predictable, and that is what capital rewards. So, I think it's important for people to understand that India is not, you can say the price points are cheap, but this is the right time to enter, because the delta that you have in buying a property over here, the appreciation of capital, the per capita income, the growth rate in India is huge. And as everybody's expanding their portfolio, as people are wanting to be, let's say, risk averse, have arbitrage, various kinds of arbitrage, property, and that also in another country, in a country that you either have some connects with, or a country that is warm and friendly, I think it's a great opportunity to invest in a country like India.
I agree, and I 100% echo that, because I myself has investment properties in India. My brother lives in New Zealand, and he has investment properties in India. So I highly recommend to everybody who's listening this, take a step forward, learn more about it, reach out to Sam. He is the person to talk to. He'll know everything. He'll answer all the questions. I've been bugging him a lot, so I can assure you that he'll answer all your questions.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much, Sam. And before we end this, Gabby, do we have any questions?
Yeah, it looks like we've got a couple in the chat. So one says, are you experiencing similar housing challenges as we are here, like inventory shortages and affordability issues? And is land availability a constraint for new development?
Well, so let me answer all three of them actually. The first was let me. I think I missed the question. I just clicked the wrong button.
Oh, no, it's okay. Sorry.
Becomes a lot easier, and as as cities, like I said before, to the question, I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
The next question is
It is for men, so of course it is lower.
So,
This has been
Sam,
a
if you don't
very,
mind.
very, very amazing session, Sam. Thank you so much for taking the time talking to us and providing with all this information. I mean, I have everything noted down in my laptop and I'm like, oh, you okay? This is what's happening. This is what I need to do. So expect me bugging you more and more, please.
Absolutely, by all means, by all means.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for being a part of this, and special
thank you.
Gabby, for doing this, starting this, and handling everything.
Thank you very much, Purva. And before you go, Sam, just for regarding this tax question, is there also a real estate tax? So you mentioned 6 to 8%, that's registration tax. Is there any property taxes? And if there is any also capital gain taxes when you sell?
Yes, there is. So there is GST also, the goods and services tax, which is on properties. When you sell a property, when the developer sells a property, there's GST. There is capital gain as well, capital gain tax, which is when you sell a property. So you have an opportunity there under the Indian Income Tax Act. You have a section 54, which pretty much covers all of it, which says that there could be short-term capital gain or long-term capital gain. And then you have, so there are various provisions in that where if you sell a short-term a property which gives you, which has been tenured with you for a shorter period of time, then you pay short-term capital gain, which is higher. And if you have it tenured and you've sold it, then you are paying a lower capital gain. And you also have the opportunity in that case to offset it by buying another property. So if you sell a residential home and buy another residential home as an example, you can offset that capital gain against that. Or you can buy some government bonds again with that delta which was your capital gain and cover that. So there are various provisions of that kind, which is, I think, similar to what you have in the US as well.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you very much, Sam. It was a very nice session. Thank you, Purva. Really appreciate you coming today.
Thank you, Gabby, Ahmed, Purva, and all the others that are here. It's been a pleasure having you on this session with me, and I'm sure I'm going to see more of you over a period of time.
It's just the beginning.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, everyone. Have an excellent rest of your day. As we said, we'll send out the recording once it's done exporting, so we'll share that with everyone as well. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great day.